I think I'd like to continue with what Sue mentioned, which was, how do you mentor someone? How do you pick someone who you feel needs to take the next step? Do they suddenly appear in your life? Does
I think Holly has something to say about that.
I knew she did.
This part staged. Let me just tell you a little story. I was president of Women's Council of Realtors for the Scottsdale chapter in '96, and those 6 years going up the chairs and being part of every one of the committees was really an incredible opportunity. And my plan, my vision was to continue on, because I love WCR, that I was going to continue on to the state level. And, you know, my plan was to become state president, and so I had my plan all set. And the year that I was president of the Scottsdale chapter, Jennifer, back in that time, she was Jennifer Curl, now you know her as Jennifer Beasley, came and talked to me and said, Holly, you know, I really want you to run for director of the Scottsdale Association of Realtors. And I said, well, that's not part of my plan. But let me think about it. So I really spent a lot of time mulling it over. Well, now where can I make the biggest impact? Because my goal was to return to my profession what I had gotten out of it. And that was to play a part, a volunteer part in, and make it different, make it better for every agent that I worked with. So with Jennifer's encouragement, she spent quite a bit of time talking to me and mentoring me, and I ran for director of the Scottsdale Association of Realtors and got the position. And from there, it was kind of, well, okay, now let's start out as treasurer and then move our way up. And in 2002, I was president of the Scottsdale Association. During that time, because Jennifer had done such a fabulous job of mentoring me, I felt it was my duty as a past president of the Scottsdale Association to find people that I really thought had great leadership potential. They might not know it yet, but I saw in them something that they really didn't see. And the first person that I feel very responsible for, and I'm thrilled to say, is Bob Hackman. And Bob was my mentor. I was Bob's mentor, and encouraged him to run for office at our local chapter, WCR, which he did, and he was a phenomenal president of the Scottsdale areas of the Scottsdale chapter of WCR. He was phenomenal. And through that, I mean, he is now in national positions with National WCR, so it really is very exciting to see how far he has come. And his leadership skills are very strong now. And he was very doubtful of himself when we first got started. There's another person sitting in this room on the other side, and her name is Sue Barnes. And Sue and I went to Prescott and were roommates the year that I was past president of the Scottsdale. Well, I guess, let's see, that was in 2003, after I had been president of the Scottsdale Association. And we were up there for housing opportunities. And I said to Sue that what I'd really love to have her do is to do the invocation, and she looked at me as if I'd stabbed her in the heart with a knife. She said, I can't do that. I could never stand in front of all these people. And I said, Sue, yes you can. I said, you can. All you have to do is give it a try. If I write the invocation for you, will you do it? So I wrote her invocation, and she delivered it beautifully, eloquently, and with a lot of grace. And I have watched Sue Barnes over the year transform a very shy individual little agent that didn't get involved very much into a very, very strong leader. So when I say to you mentor, I'm lucky, I'm very lucky that I found two people that wanted assistance and wanted to go on, if you find one person that you can influence and change their lives, that's all we're asking. Can you imagine the snowball effect that that could take if every single one of you affected one other person? And I know that many of you are working on 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and that is absolutely phenomenal. But that is your role as a leader. Because you are already leaders. So now your role is to assist others in becoming one.
Pay it forward.
Yeah, I don't think she feels very passionate. So, do you want to be doing what you're doing forever? Absolutely not. And so, if you want to be moving on, you're always looking for who needs to be doing what I'm doing now. And as you look around, there are people who just kind of come to the top. They're there. They're around. And in knowing that you want to do something else because nothing is static, then you're looking for that next individual to be sharing what you're doing now. So who has the skill level, who has the passion, who has the ability, and who will serve the rest of the community that you're involved in the best. And then you take them aside, like Holly does, and you say, let's do the invocation. I'll help you. We've all done it, haven't we? Every single one of you in this room has done it. You've chosen someone to take under your wing a little bit, not in a way that helps them to grow, not in a way that stifles them. Taking somebody under your wing doesn't mean that you're going to smother them with that wing. You're just going to shelter them a little bit and help them in the way that they would like to be helped to grow into whatever it is that they're looking to do. It's natural, though, when you know that you're going to be moving on, and every single one of us is always in that process of moving on. So, just take a look around you.
I think they've said it well, but one of the things that I think you guys all come from is sales. We all know how to sell. And we can sell the great points of why people should be involved. And I probably take a little harder sales approach. I twist their arm pretty hard until I get them to convince that they need to do it. Because so often we doubt ourselves. And, without taking that first step to get that person involved, I hear so often when I ask people to sit on committees, be it for the village planning committees, or whatever it is we're doing, they'll say, oh, I could never do that. But they can't see what they really are capable of doing. When they articulate to us what they really want from us, we see that they have those leadership qualities. And it's our job to kind of put them in a position that they can show those leadership qualities. I come back, when I first took office, I had an office, I used my political manager as my office manager. Was it a good experience? He was great for showing me the political framework, but he was not an assistant that could get the day-to-day stuff done. So when that person left my office, I had a young kid in my office that was all of 23, 24 years old. His boss had just left, and I brought him in and I said, geez, Josh, I think you're somebody that can do this job. He goes, no, ma'am, everything is ma'am with him. Ma'am this, or no, ma'am, I can't do this. And I said, no, Josh, I know you can do this. I know you are the person that knows how to get the job done, and you know where to get the answers. And he's like, oh, no, ma'am, I don't think so. He's afraid he's taking his boss's job. He leaves, he comes back the next day, and he goes, you know what? I think you're right, I can do this. So you have to give people a little bit of space, but sometimes you have to take a more aggressive approach to encourage them to do it. And the thing of it was, there was always a fallback, and that's what you want, a fallback plan. Well, if it doesn't work out, we'll look at something else, but give it a shot. So I think we do have a job to mentor people, and I think that it's a wonderful feeling when you see the successes. Unfortunately, I think the one I mentored, Terry Gillis, I don't know what happened to her. We'll find her again. She's a wonderful person, and Terry was my chance to bring into WCR and the Phoenix chapter, and you know, she didn't see the things in herself that the rest of us did. But you know, she was a leader, and it's been so great to see her blossom and move forward. And so I have to tell you that I think they're great. All of us have leaders, but we all know people that are underneath us that would be greater leaders than us. And I think that's another thing. Never let your ego be too big. You must know that these people are going to far exceed you most of the time because they have qualities that we see, and let them blossom.